Big way for the win. Pandemonium. Absolute scene.
The hottest basketball takes, news, and analysis. This is the Fast Break Podcast with Finn James and Will Tremaine.
Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans.
For basketball fans.
Finn James.
Will Tremaine.
Welcome back into another episode. This one is going to be jam-packed. I say it every single week, Will, but this one has got some serious content in here.
This one going to be better than all the previous ones, Finn, is it?
That might be a stretch. We've had some pretty damn good episodes throughout this year.
have.
It's been a bloody good year, and thank you all for the support. We've got the Best Media Coverage Award in the setup now. It's looking glorious. Shout out to the Sales NBL and New Zealand Basketball for sending that out. So
And yeah, let's just look back real quick at the how this season's gone, the Sales NBL, Finn. I think we did a good job. We should be proud of ourselves. We got a lot of guests on, almost a weekly basis. We had a different guest on, whether it was a head coach or a player from the league, giving their insights into their background in basketball and their season in Sales. I think it's been a good season, Sales NBL, Finn, and it feels like we've been making real progress.
yeah, I agree with you, Will. I thought it was good fun. Great to bump heads with some of the great people of New Zealand basketball, and I mean, if all things go to plan, we'll be doing it all again next year.
Yeah, and we'll be carrying this momentum as well into the Australian NBL season, hopefully getting players on a weekly basis. That would be amazing.
It might pay a little bit harder, considering this league is prestigious.
Yeah.
But
They might not have time for two bums like us.
Oh, well, let's not hold ourselves a little. Let's hold ourselves to a high standard here, Will. But nah, definitely. The plan is to try and continue the interviews throughout. But obviously, Will and I will be attending as many home basketball games for the Breakers as possible. Going to press conferences like we did last year, catching up with this time around Gordon Herbert, which is going to be great, getting to know him on a game-by-game basis as we head to the press conferences. So we'll be pumping that content into here throughout the NBL season, as well as just really diving into the Breakers. Like we did it last season, man. We had some damn extensively long episodes just diving straight into every single little thing the Breakers were doing, as well as just covering the NBL as a whole as it continues to grow. There's some ridiculous teams that are forming throughout this NBL season, and we're going to cover that a little bit throughout this episode. But I think for this episode, we're really going to dive into how the Breakers roster is shaping up. There's still about a month until the Australian NBL does kick off. They have the pre-season blitz at the very start of September 4th. And the Breakers' 12-man playing roster is officially assembled, plus two development players. They have two more left, which we're going to give our little predictions on throughout this episode. Who we think will jump in.
This is our third season now covering the Breakers on a Fast Break podcast.
Pretty crazy, yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But this definitely, on paper, is the best team that the Breakers have had since we've started covering them. I think our expectations, I hope they don't crumble, but they're high for me, at least. It's definitely better than the two previous seasons that the Breakers have had. So I've got high expectations for sure.
Yeah, there's been a lot go on in the last 3 years. Obviously, when we first started, Will thought that we were going to win it all back in, 2024? And,
oh, gosh.
I mean, look, they were on track. Freddie Gillespie gets shipped off for Taco Fall.
Yeah.
And then obviously the
I thought they were going to win it all last year as well.
Yeah, and then the massive news with the ownership change. That was a big deal last year, and I felt like the boat was pretty rocky last year, considering it was the first season under that new regime, you could say, with Dylan Boucher as the head of basketball operations, and he's done a fine job this offseason, that's for sure. And I think they were trying to go Kiwi-centric last year. That was like their big motto, back to black, going for that Kiwi feel. Look,
Not so much anymore.
Yeah, we're going to dive into this roster. I mean, there is less Kiwis than non. I think there's more non-Kiwis in the team than there is Kiwis. And
spoiler alert, I think the Breakers are going to win it all again.
Oh, well, we'll just thrown out his prediction already.
No, they're not. The Melbourne United are going to beat us in the final.
We're going to get into that in this episode as well. But Will and I did actually attend the open day for the first ever Breakers training. This was Tuesday last week, so about 6 days ago.
First ever. Like all time.
Their first training for the year, Will.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Semantics.
Yeah,
you're a dick,
like
you know. So, yeah, we were lucky enough to go along, bump heads with a few of the players, a few of the new coaches as well. And that was a great experience. They unveiled their brand new rebrand as well, Will, with the new, there was like a big wave that was going on their Instagram, and everyone was like, oh, what's going on here? And I mean, we've slowly put the pieces together. They're obviously rebranding it, and they came out with a new logo. They've gone completely to black and white. No more blue within the uniform this year as well.
I personally like it. It gives that All Blacks feeling.
Yeah, I think it resembles New Zealand well, which I think they've still made it very clear that they're still representing the country, right? Well, so with the color scheme and the font and the logo. I think it's really clean. I like the black and white, and yeah, I'm a big fan of it. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I like the training jerseys that they were wearing. We obviously haven't seen the official ones yet, but yeah, I think it's a great rebrand. And yeah, we were lucky enough to catch up with a friend of the podcast, Quinn Clinton, who's obviously an assistant coach on the Breakers. We'll be playing that interview with him. And also Preston Le Gassick, we got to have a good chat with as well, who's going to be playing, I think, some big minutes for the Breakers this season as our backup point guard.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, good to catch up with them. Gordon Herbert, Parker Jackson-Cartwright, and one of the new imports, Josiah-Jordan James, also did stand up in front of media. We were lucky enough to ask some questions. They'll be in this as well. But just before we get into the this content from Tuesday, we've got about 10 minutes of it that you're all going to be able to enjoy. Your first look at what we were seeing in training, we saw Kawhi Noy, DJ Vasiljevic in Breakers uniforms for the first time. We have the Isaiah Liafa slowly coming back to health, and we saw the first look of Cale Robinson as in DP, who had a pretty stellar season for the Franklin Bulls, I thought.
Excited for him, for sure.
Yeah, what are your initial thoughts seeing some new players here? Obviously, Le Gassick as well as a new player, and then Josiah-Jordan James too. Just getting a little bit of a feel for what strengths they have on the court.
It was very exciting to see. I mean, with DJ, we know what he's bringing, and he was showing it off at training as well. Just absolute sharpshooter. The best shooter on this team for sure. Buttery jump shot. And then like Kawhi Noy, we saw him working out as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interested to see how this rotation plays out for the Breakers, because I thought when they announced Kawhi Noy, he kind of was coming here with the understanding that he might be in a starting role, was my assumption. But now we've seen the rest of the roster play out. The imports that we've signed, I wonder if he's going to be coming off the bench again in his key role. But I personally think he's going to be one of the best players on our team, and I want to see him start. So I don't know who's going to be the guy coming off the bench for us. But yeah, just super exciting seeing all these new guys. Preston Le Gassick looks like an absolute bucket after an incredible NBL 1 season.
Really
I think
good.
He's going to be one to watch for sure. But he's obviously going to be getting limited minutes because the man in front of him, Parker Jackson-Cartwright, is obviously the heart of this team and the future New Zealand citizen as well.
Yeah,
So,
and just on that, great way to leeway in this. We'll obviously jump into a little bit more in depth on how this Breakers roster is forming and has formed in a break to come. But Parker Jackson-Cartwright did address media, and you probably would have seen it on the Fast Break podcast Instagram and on Sport Nation if you had a look. Parker Jackson-Cartwright was asked whether he is still interested in remaining in New Zealand for an extended period of time, and there was a few talks about him working towards becoming a New Zealand citizen or a resident. I don't know, would probably be like a naturalized athlete in New Zealand, and even having the opportunity to put on potentially a Tall Blacks jersey in the future. And he did address media and said it's in the works. It's something he wants to go through, and I think that is insanely cool news to hear from not only the longest tenured Breakers import we've ever had at this club for the duration of the time that this franchise has been around, since the early 2000s, but also probably one of the best players we've seen put on a Breakers jersey too.
yeah, and the words he was using, like saying that New Zealand is home to him, it just it felt good being Kiwis ourselves, obviously, just seeing that someone from America has come here and absolutely fallen in love with our culture and the city and the country itself. So yeah, great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like if he wasn't a big fan of the country, he'd probably look elsewhere. But the fact that he is obviously enjoying his time in New Zealand, like you said, he thinks it's home. Hopefully in the future we might see him as a citizen, being able to put on that Tall Blacks jersey as well. I feel like some Kiwi fans might feel a bit weird about that. For me, I'm all for it. I think if he is embracing New Zealand culture, Bryce Cotton just put on a Boomers jersey for the first time in that last window, then I'm all for it. And the thing with Parker Jackson-Cartwright, and he's on a expiring contract, Will. So this is his last year of his deal. I think from what he's saying,
He's going to resign, man.
we're going to see him here for an extended period of time. He's only 31 years old. I feel like he's still got plenty of basketball in him. For a small guard, they can play for quite a long time. But I think what's going to happen, and this is my prediction, and you can let me know what you think, Will. I think what's going to happen with Parker throughout the season, depending on how quickly or how far the progression of his citizenship journey goes, will determine what type of contract he signs next year if he does decide to stay. I feel like It looks like he's not going to be able to become a citizen. They'll just probably extend him for another season as an import. But I feel like if he gets that citizenship, they're going to be able to sign him to that local contract. We're going to be able to have 3 more imports on the team on top of Parker Jackson-Cartwright, whose salary, and Sam Meninga, who's signed that 2-year deal as well. And Parker Jackson-Cartwright being a local potentially next season will mean that the salary from his contract won't dip into our luxury tax as much as other players compared to an import. So that would be massive.
Yeah, and I think, with all due respect to Parker Jackson-Cartwright, but he's never making the NBA, unfortunately, just because of the size of his height and his age. So I think the next best thing that the Australian NBL is proving itself to be, like, arguably the next best league in the world. There's obviously all those Euro leagues as well, but the ANBL is growing fast. So I think, why would someone not want to solidify themselves and have a long tenured career in the NBL and make themselves one of the greatest players in a league that's just below the NBA? I think that is going to be more of a common thing for some imports going forwards. And so, yeah, I think there's no reason why Parker won't want to sign another long-term deal with the New Zealand Breakers.
Bryce Cotton is the pioneer for that.
Yeah.
Tyler Harvey has also followed suit. He is now...
Milton Doyle
was in the works with it. I don't even know if he signed to a team this season. I might be wrong. Might need to double check there. And then you have the likes of somebody like Cole Anthony coming over to this league to really prove themselves in a league that is high quality, which has been proven that it actually has a similar play style to the NBA from what a lot of Americans have said. And they said the lifestyle of this part of the world is some of the best that they've ever lived in, which is bloody outstanding.
Not surprising.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on the Fast Break podcast. We're going to come back. We're going to play all this content that we gathered up from Tuesday last week at the the home of Breakers down at Atlas Place. And then we're also going to dive into a bit of the deep dive into the Breakers roster as well throughout this episode. So stay tuned. We're going to be back right after this. You're listening to the Fast Break podcast on Sport Nation with Finn and Will. Time to dive back into last Tuesday, where Will and I did attend the first training day for the Breakers. We caught up with Parker Jackson-Cartwright, the new import Josiah-Jordan James, young gun Preston Le Gassick, and one of the assistant coaches and friend of the podcast, Quinn Clinton. So enjoy that. We'll be back right after that.
How do you think your game's going to translate to the NBL? You've obviously done 5 years at Tennessee, that year of the Mad Ants as well, now in Jerusalem. Now that you're in the NBL down under, how do you think your game translates to the NBL from what you've seen?
I think it translates very well. I know this is a fast-paced physical league, and those are 2 things that I pride myself on being. And so I think it'll be an easy transition. Every day won't be perfect, but I know that I'm going to come in with the right mindset, and that's half the battle right there.
What's it like playing at a big school like Tennessee for so long and then coming out and to these different leagues around the world?
It's interesting. It's pretty easy. Like my 5 years at Tennessee, I want to say I had like 10 overseas players. So I learned about other cultures and other basketball cities while I was there, and it prepared me because Rick Barnes is another Hall of Fame head coach, and each and every day he's going to get the best out of you. So I just try to take what I learned there and take it wherever I go, and thankfully I'm here.
Obviously, you probably would have saw that Cole Anthony signed for Melbourne United. Are you excited to go up against a genuine NBA player that's had a pretty good, convincing career in the NBA already?
Absolutely. And Cole and I go way back. We won a gold medal together in 2017 when we were both on Team USA over in Canada. So I have a really good relationship with him. He's been phenomenal. It's very surprising, but I'm overly happy. The more talent we can get in this league, the better. And so I know it'll be a very competitive league.
Hey Parker, obviously coming back for your 4th year, someone like Josiah who's here for his first season, do you feel like you can almost take him under your wing, teach him about things like in New Zealand culture nowadays?
Sure. He's eager, he has the right personality, but in all, he's excited to be here and partake in this culture and win. He wants to win, he wants to show his talent, he knows that he can really contribute to a winning team and a winning program. So it's not so much as taking him under my wing, it's just bringing him along with the other guys that are here.
And having someone like DJ to be a running mate in the backcourt, obviously one of the greatest shooters in this league, how excited are you to be playing alongside him?
Man, he's one of the greatest shooters in the world, like, when you really think about it. For me, it's just how can I get him more open looks, making the game super easy for him, because he makes it easy for himself. Shooter like him, it's easy because he gets it off quick. He knows his spots and where he needs to, for a guard to find him like myself. So I told him, we've just been talking how we can just play off of each other and make this, an incredible union, because I love playing with shooters. There's nothing like it, and I'm definitely going to find him.
Your 4th season in the league, Parker. Is this the best team you've played on in the NBL so far for the Breakers?
The first season I was here, to that team's credit, that was a really talented team. And we had some injuries, and we didn't get to really play with that full potential, full squad. But this is definitely, I think, the most exciting team I've been a part of as a Breaker. Just heading into a season, everybody seems to be on the right page. And even day one, you know, we have good vibes, we have good energy. The culture is moving in the right place. We have a rebrand that feels authentic and genuine. So it's definitely the most exciting.
How much weight does Derek Rucker's top 10 have on you this season?
Man, I like Derek Rucker. You know, I think he knows what he's doing. He's played the game at a high level, played in this league. He knows this league. So it's all love there, but, you know, it's definitely some added motivation, you know, for anybody, not just myself. Everybody's looking at that list. They're lying if they're not. But it's about doing what I can control, and it's about my team and how we can go out and win games. That's all it is.
This is obviously your 4th season. We just mentioned it before. You'd almost call yourself a veteran on the Breakers now, the longest tenured import we've seen on this team probably since Cedric Jackson about 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know if you've ever heard about him, but what keeps bringing you back to this team?
The club, the city, country. I feel so comfortable here, you know, and that's enough for me. You know, I don't need a lot. I'm a simple guy. I love this league, and you know, it's giving me so much. So I think the next step is to go out there and win. You know, I want a taste of winning. I want a taste of getting to a series and competing with the best in this league.
Bit of a left field question for you, Parker. How's the music going off the court?
It's good. You know, I'm still experimenting. I'm still doing it. It keeps me creative. I love staying creative and learning about myself. So music is a great avenue for me. But I'm still doing it. I just don't know to what extent people are already asking me when I'm dropping and whatever. So it's cool that people love that I do the music because I love it as well.
We've got the new Breakers young gun, Preston Le Gassick. Man, it's good to see you, man, here in the Breakers colours. How are you feeling after your first day?
Yeah, no, loved it. Yeah, all the boys are nice, the coaching, the facilities, everything. Yeah, it's real professional, and yeah, it's great to be a part of, and yeah, can't wait to get it rolling.
Obviously, coming off a very impressive NBL 1 season, what do you plan to bring to this Breakers team this season?
Yeah, just energy, effort. Yeah, just a bit of shooting, bit of kind of everything. I just want to play really hard, and yeah, do whatever it takes to win.
What was the recruitment process like for you? I to be honest, this is arrogant of me. I'd never actually heard of you before. I'd seen a few highlights in NBL 1, so I'd been playing over in the States as well. But what was it like, Dylan Boucher reaching out to you to come and play for a club like this?
Yeah, essentially I just finished college. Then Boucher reached out, and yeah, it kind of all just happened really quick. And yeah, he's a great guy, great leader, and yeah, great leader of this program. And yeah, when he reached out, I just couldn't wait to get involved with it. So, I'm really excited to be here.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your mum's a Kiwi. Do you have any aspirations of representing the Tall Blacks in the future?
Yeah, wherever basketball will take me. I'll play wherever. She's from, grew up in New Plymouth, so yeah, have a few family members down there. So yeah.
What is it going to be like sharing the court with someone like Parker Jackson-Cartwright, like one of the more veteran players and imports that this club has seen? I'm sure you've probably heard a bit about him, but are you excited to be his running partner at times during this season?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, even just today, just working out with him. He's got a great feel and energy about him, and yeah, great dude off the court. So yeah, I can't imagine what he does on the court when we get into team stuff. But no, I've seen a lot of it, and yeah, he's a great player for me to look up to too. So yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, Preston. We look forward to catching up with you later on in the season, and yeah, all the best for this upcoming season.
Breakers assistant coach and head coach of the Canterbury Rams, Quinn Clinton, a friend of the podcast, with us here at Breakers HQ. First day of Breakers training, Quinn. How are you feeling around this group?
No, it's exciting. I think it's real energy in the gym, and yeah, guys are ready to get after it, and we're looking forward to having the whole group here soon.
What's it like going from a head coaching position to now coming in as an assistant coach? Is it much different, or still mostly the same?
Yeah, I mean, still basketball at the end of the day, but I think it's definitely just say the mental space. I feel like as a head coach, you're always on, always thinking, always making decisions, and then I think as an assistant coach, you can still doing some of that, but you're diving into areas and more in a supportive role, and you're just making sure the group's ready to perform.
Just came up short in the NZNBL, unfortunately, with the Rams, but how hard was it to switch so quickly from that season into Breakers mode?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've been looking forward to, but yeah, like you said, it's a quick turnaround. Had about a day off and then into some exit meetings and then just trying to pack up and then organise life up here.
Are there any guys from the Rams that are in talks as DPs or training players on the Breakers?
Yeah, not this season. I think there were some talks, and then just for whatever reason, other guys had other opportunities with other clubs and other opportunities overseas. But it doesn't mean that next season it's not going to be the same.
What was your initial reaction when you got the call up to come and be an assistant coach for this, amazing franchise that represents our country? Yeah,
no, it was exciting. I think, had some opportunities overseas to pursue and keep coaching in a full-time capacity. So that was always the goal post NZNBL season. And then to do it for a club that, I guess I've followed since being a young kid and been a part of it before. I think, the opportunity to work with Gordy and Sebastian and Matt and then the group of guys who were coming in, it was a no-brainer for me.
And what are your expectations this season with this team? It's obviously one of the best-looking Breakers teams in years. Do you guys have high hopes?
Yeah, I think it's just like fall in love with the process, like getting better each day and just building as a group and buying into what Gordy has to offer. And I think if we do that, who knows what the potential is for this group.
Who are you most excited to bump heads throughout the season?
Oh, I think, anytime you suit up at this level, I think there's no nights off. Everyone's good, everyone can compete, and I think so just game by game, to be honest with you.
Well, Quinn, it's great to catch up with you, mate, and all the best.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. Cheers, bro.
Hopefully you enjoyed all of that content from the open day of the Breakers. Hopefully we'll be catching up with more of those great people throughout the season. We're going to take another quick break here on the Fast Break podcast. We're going to dive deep into this 12-man rotation as well as give you our last two defensive development players for the Breakers for NBL 27. Welcome back into the Fast Break podcast on Sport Nation with Finn and Will. We're going to dive really deep into this Breakers roster. We've got a 12-man rotation for NBL 27, as well as two development players confirmed and a training player, actually, which we'll get into as well in a little bit. But firstly, let's talk about the latest signing that came out last Tuesday.
How do you pronounce this name, Finn?
Yeah,
help me out.
Charles Bediako, I think.
Canadian citizen. I think that obviously has some ties with Gordon Herbert. I'm sure he probably had a say in getting this guy on the roster. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on him? Your initial thoughts?
6'11" center. So they signed a big man, which we wanted them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they're probably going to start at import. If he doesn't cut it, we'll probably see Sam at the 5. But he's 6'11". A person that I know that does some content over in the US, even has a photo with him actually.
Yeah, I saw your TikTok, Finn.
Yeah,
because initially when the signing first came out. Let's not sugarcoat it. We were a bit skeptical.
I was skeptical.
We were skeptical. But I have since seen your TikTok, Finn James. Everyone go follow Finn James on TikTok. And you're talking about your American friend and how he has high praise for this guy.
He said he's good. He said he's good. He's 6'11". He's very athletic, defensively quite sound, and a good rebounder. So his journey's a bit funky though. I'll tell you his journey, Will. So the 2 years of college, then he declared for the NBA draft, went undrafted, did a couple years in the G League. And then he still had 1 year of eligibility left. So he went back to college, which sparked a bit of controversy, obviously, over like the whole NIL deals and everything. And either the NBA or the NCAA didn't grant him permission to go and play. So he filed a lawsuit. And the lawsuit went through, and he got to play a year at Alabama, which...
Wow.
He copped a lot of crap for that by fans. They used to call him the G League dropout and stuff, apparently, like that. And then, so he did 1 year at Alabama and then just finished up a campaign in the Canadian Basketball League. So he is Canadian. Gordon Herbert probably knows a lot about this guy for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think me being the optimistic guy that I am, Charles Bediako, I think he's gonna come in and he's gonna play that 5 role, allow Sam to play the 4, just do his job. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not super familiar with his game. Can he shoot?
Not at all.
Can he shoot threes?
No.
Okay, so he's gonna be a natural, like OG type of big man, genuine 5 down there getting boards, kicking back out. I think TBD on how well he's gonna perform in this Breakers jersey, but I'm optimistic. I think he can come in and have an impact. And the most important thing for me was always allowing Sam to play the 4, where I think he's at his best. So I think as long as it ticks that box, I'm happy.
I agree. And we've seen the Breakers have traditional bigs in the past. I think most recently, even Freddie Gillespie couldn't really shoot threes, and we were going all right there. If you look back to the NBL 23 season, Taco Fall was a different grade. If you look back to NBL 23, where we just came up short in the finals with one of the best rosters we'd ever assembled. Derek Pardon at the 5, a very traditional big man. He was excellent. We had a lot of shooting on that team as well, and we were literally 5 minutes away from winning an NBL championship, which would have been pretty bloody awesome.
And we tried the stretch big thing as well last year with Rob Baker, and that didn't work out. So maybe we're pivoting back to the traditional big man.
And at the end of the day, Dylan Boucher, I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of trust in this man.
Yeah.
He got thrown a franchise last season and tried to go full Kiwi-centric. And at times our roster looked really bloody good, but I felt like we just didn't click enough. And I think the depth kind of, had a few cracks in it last year. Obviously, we won the Ignite Cup, beat Adelaide in that. Like, we had the pieces of the puzzle to go in a deep run, I think, but it wasn't meant to be. He's built a better roster this year, and I trust his basketball mind to recruit the best players for us to become a winning basketball club. And same with Gordon Herbert. This guy, Charles Bediako, has played for Canada. Gordon Herbert is obviously the head coach of Canadian basketball. He probably knows this guy and trusts him to whatever extent. So I hope he comes in and is just a dog, Will. I really do. I just hope he comes in and just plays his role to perfection, because we have so much local talent where I didn't think we needed to splurge on an import that could really do everything.
Yeah, and so with his announcement as well, that finalizes our 12-man playing rotation.
Yes.
So let's run through that now, Finn. We'll go position-based. We'll run through the list. We'll start with our point guards, the generals of the floor. Obviously, Parker Jackson-Cartwright, who we've spoken so highly of. Incredible basketball player. He's going to be starting at that point guard position, running. Everything's going to be going through him. And then as our backup point guard, we've also mentioned him. We talked to him at the media training. Preston Le Gassick, the young gun from Australia, who also has Kiwi citizenship as well.
I don't know if it's citizenship, but I think he's eligible to play for the Tall Blacks.
Which we talked about with him.
Which is big, man. Which is big.
Those are our 2 point guards. What are our thoughts on those 2 guys, Finn?
Parker's a top 10 player in this league, arguably an MVP caliber player. We've seen it in the past. I think we always sing his praises so highly for the type of player he is, and he's molded his game to this league really well. He came in, obviously, this would be his 4th season. His first season, he was a genuine scorer, 20-point per game scorer, and he slowly transitioned into just a ridiculous floor general. I think he almost led the league in assists last year. He averaged 2 steals. He even averages 5 rebounds, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, underrated on the defensive end as well with the steals, isn't it?
Super underrated. Obviously, he lacks size, but he's already established himself in this league that does not matter. He's got a crazy touch around the rim. I think his 3-point shooting has gone... It's pretty streaky. I think last year he wasn't great, but we've seen in the past how good he is. His mid-range is ridiculous. His float is ridiculous. I don't need to sing his praises anymore. Parker Jackson-Cartwright, one of the best players in this league. Preston Le Gassick, man, this guy had an outstanding NBL 1 campaign. Obviously, Will and I didn't really know much about this about Preston before he did sign for the Breakers, and I don't think many people around NBL basketball really did know much about him. He actually didn't even play Division 1 basketball. He played Division 2, but where he seemingly dominated in Florida. And then he's played for the Gold Coast NBL 1 team for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, maybe even more. Shared the court with Ruben Tarangi last year even, so they have a good relationship too. This guy is a ridiculous 3-point threat, a great passer, and they won the NBL final, and he was the grand final MVP, averaged 26 a game in the NBL 1 grand final in the North. So yeah, he's pretty damn good for a 23 or 24-year-old guy.
I think we couldn't have a better 2-man point guard rotation between these 2 guys. A proven star in PJC, who's obviously, like you said, top 10 player in this league, and Parker Jackson-Cartwright, a young gun who's still got plenty of growth. And to be under Parker Jackson-Cartwright as his mentor, I think is huge. I think those 2 guys running our point guard minutes, couldn't be better.
Preston's also on a 1+1 contract, 1st year guaranteed, 2nd year team option. So if he impresses Dylan Boucher and the likes, he'll be back next year for sure, I reckon.
For sure. And
shooting guard, Jose Vasiljevic. I feel like we're a bit weak here. Isaiah Liafa listed as the backup too. He's obviously coming off this foot injury, and I feel like in recent years hasn't been great.
Yeah.
And he sat out most of NZNBL. He hasn't played much basketball. He's proven himself in this league before that he is a good player, and he's probably one of the best defenders on our team for sure.
And he can find his 3 ball as well.
Super
at times.
streaky.
But DJ Vasiljevic, obviously the standout here.
What a player.
Obviously going to be starting at the 2 guard. Proven NBL scorer, one of the greatest 3-point shooters in this league.
Yeah.
And this league has ever seen, you could argue. I think alongside Parker Jackson-Cartwright, he's going to be carrying the most of the boatload of those shooting guard minutes for sure. I think, like you said, incredible player to be starting at the 2, and Liafa to come in for those backup minutes. He can also kind of make a bit as well if needed. I think it's decent. Not as strong as our point guard rotation, but still impressive.
DJ, 2-time champion, of course. Like, this guy can play. At the small forward position, we have one of the latest imports, Josiah-Jordan James. We obviously caught up with him at Breakers Media Day as well. Just a two-way dog, 6'6", athletic, has an okay jump shot. He shot pretty well. He played in Jerusalem, I think, most recently. Lefty. Looks like he's got a decent handle for a 6'6" guy as well.
Yes.
But we signed him to play defense, and this guy's a dog. Did 5 years at Tennessee. Like, he can play.
Yeah, he's most likely going to be starting for us. I could see a world where he comes off the bench if they want to start Kawhi. But our backup small forwards, Carlin Davidson and Ruben Torangi.
Yeah, this is some
two
good
very
depth,
proven
really good depth,
NZNBL players. Yeah, 3 guys who could start for this team, I think, all in the small forward position. Carlin Davidson just seems to be developing year on year. Very impressive. Ruben Torangi had a great sales campaign
really good.
for the Tauranga Fire. I think he's almost redeveloped, reimagined his game and come back. I think after a couple of down seasons, you could argue, when he went to Southeast Melbourne and stuff, but he can come in and play 3 minutes. He can play the backup 4 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Ruben's going to be a vital piece to this team. He's obviously a great shooter as well. So I think those 3 guys sharing those small forward minutes, like you said, very, very good depth there.
Yes, seriously good depth at the small forward. Davison just keeps excelling the heights that I didn't know he had. Like, man, if you look back to the Ignite Cup final last season, holy, that guy had probably one of the best games I've ever seen him play. Caught a ridiculous body. Defensively, this guy is probably one of the best on our team.
Yep.
He has ridiculous athleticism. His 3-point shooting's coming along. Man, his playmaking as well is just insane. Like, he had other teams. Like, we caught up with him not long ago. There was other teams that wanted this guy. He's just doing one more year with the Breakers, whether he decides to stay for another. But, man, there's some good depth here. Ruben Tarangi is aging like fine wine, Will. Like, genuinely,
sure.
His 3-point shooting is improving season on season, and he's just figuring out, like, he's a veteran. He's figuring out what works for him, and he just continues to excel. Really good sales campaign, like you said, Will, and just a great leader to have on your team.
Yeah, and if we move on to the power forward position as well, Sam Menenga, obviously going to be holding it down.
He said he can win MVP this year.
I think a top 10 player as well, alongside Parker Jackson-Cartwright. Arguably our best player.
Yeah, I
Well
agree.
take.
Him and Parker are 1A, 1B. Like, Menenga is he took a huge leap last year. Like, one of the biggest leaps we probably saw in the NBL. He is set to probably make another leap if all things go right for him. I think Menenga can definitely jump to new heights, and great to have him starting at the 4 position and can even play the 5 as well. And Kawhi, man, a player that when he signed, I thought we were assembling a genuine God squad. He signed for 2 years as well, which is pretty insane, Will. And he is a former 6th man of the year and a proven winner. I think he had a bit of a down season last year, and I don't know, like you said, Will, earlier on, the pull factor might have been for him to start, and we'll see what type of team we do roll out come the Blitz. But regardless, he's going to be playing a lot of minutes, and he's a bloody good player. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Kawhi Noya can produce for the Breakers this season.
And if we move on to the center position, Finn, like we just spoke about at the start of this segment, Charles Bediako, the big man from Canada, 6'11", natural OG, what do you call it? An OG type of big?
Yeah.
90s big? Shaq-esque. He's going to be traditional. There's a world where he doesn't start, and Sam runs the 4. Kawhi maybe Sam runs the 5, Kawhi runs the 4. Like we talked about, Kawhi might be wanting to have a starting role on this team. But I believe he will probably start with Sam at the 4. And then our backup center is none other than Anzac Rossetto. Finn, what are your thoughts on him and Bediako running the 2-man center rotation?
Yeah, first of all, I can't really comment too much on Charles Bediako, just from what I know. A genuine and traditional center, 6'11", we talked about him a bit earlier on in the podcast. From what my understanding, he's a good player. I mean, he's played in college, played in the G League, he's played in the Canadian League. Gordon Herbert obviously knows a bit about him. Anzac Rossetto. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical about this signing. Not a bad player, don't get me wrong. Came in and finished his season with the Tauranga Fire, where he did impress. He's about 6'10", 6'11", not super athletic, but an incredibly strong individual, which is something we do need at the 5. This is an incredibly physical league. The NBL is one of the most physical leagues in the world. To have Anzac Rossetto as potentially that backup center position, I don't hate. I don't love it though. I think we probably could have
had better
a little bit higher. Yeah, I think Sam Timmins, they should have thrown some more money at Sam Timmins potentially, but this is no hate on Anzac Rossetto. I think he's a proven professional basketball player, do not get me wrong, and will learn a lot playing in this system. And a lot of the time, some players really excel when they play with better players. Sean Bairstow, I think, is a genuine example of that. I thought he was okay in the Breakers uniform, but come NZNBL, wasn't amazing. But I think there is a genuine world where we will see Parker start, DJ start, Josiah-Jordan James start, Mananga and Bediako start. And then I think a lot of the time we'll see Bediako go off early, Mananga stretch out to the 5 and Kawhi come on. I think we're going to see that a lot this season.
Agreed.
Because it just makes sense having that much depth at the power forward position.
Kawhi's going to be getting a lot of minutes for sure.
Kawhi's going to be playing a lot. Mananga is a proven athlete, can play a lot. And then with that depth at the small forward position with Davison and Tarangi coming off the bench, 2 players who can also play the power forward position, I think we'll see a lot of the kind of like stretching upwards, which we saw a lot last year.
And you can even play Carlin Davidson in point guard minutes at a push if you really need to.
You could. And we saw it last year as well. Robert Baker going out with that ACL injury. Ruben Tarangi shifted into that starting power forward role pretty seamlessly. So it's something we will see quite a bit this season. But we got 2 DP spots obviously already taken with Cale Robinson and Tukaha Cooper. Tobias Cameron signing as a training player and potentially injury replacement player if Lee Arthur isn't set to make a start of the season, or if somebody goes injured during the season. We have 2 more left, Will. Who would you like to see that put on a good performance in the NZNBL?
Yeah, well, first of all, if we quickly talk about the 2 that have already been announced, Tukaha Cooper obviously was a DP last season for the Breakers, so he's coming back for his 2nd season.
Yeah.
I think he had some big moments for the Breakers last year as a DP. He was kind of the 4 DPs, I thought it was him and Jack Andrew that kind of got the most minutes. And he impressed in a few games. And then obviously in his sales campaign with the Southland Sharks, the winners of the competition, he kind of had a bit of a lesser role than he did in previous seasons. Came off the bench, but again, had some big moments, including that grand final. He came up with some big rebounds, real like key moments in that game. I think obviously still a young guy. I think perfect DP. He can learn a lot from Parker Jackson-Cartwright, DJ Vasiljevic. He's got a bit of everything on this team where he can pick from guys to add to his game, like shooting from DJ, playmaking from Parker. I think he's going to really thrive this season as a DP on this roster. And then as for Cale Robinson, very impressive season with the Franklin Bulls. I think he was like arguably their best player outside of their 3 imports.
Yeah, he was.
For sure, yeah, that's not even a hot take. And obviously a young guy as well. I think he's, honestly, this might be a hot take, one of the best DPs that we've seen in a Breakers jersey in a few years.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think Cale was excellent for the Franklin Bulls. Came off a really strong college campaign as well. Just a really good 3-point shooter for his size. Pretty athletic. It'll be great to see what type of player he does develop into and whether he does get even just some garbage time minutes. Same with Tukaha. I think, he had a bit of a down year compared to his first year for Southland, but good to bring him back. I think he's got a lot of potential as well. But the last 2 DP spots, I think, man, it is hard to say. I think we'll go definitely NZNBL. I want to see Zach Riley from the Auckland Tours.
I was going to say Zach Riley. I think a good point guard to back up Preston and PJC. He had a very impressive campaign for the Tuatara. There were moments early on in the season when he was starting where I thought he was the best player for the Tuatara on the court. Over the likes of Sean Bairstow, who's been in the Breakers rotation before. I think Zach Riley would thrive as a DP on the Breakers for sure. And as for the last DP spot, Finn, I think we probably need to go out there and get like a center, backup center or something. DP center.
I want Jack Andrew another year. That's what I want.
Another year, Jack Andrew.
I thought he's developed really solid into a solid big man. He's been getting better at shooting his 3-point. Geez, couldn't spit it out. He's developing a better 3-point shot. That's what I'm trying to say. And He actually had to play quite a bit last year with Baker going out, and then Rob Lowe I think got injured too. So Jack Andrew was like basically playing backup to Meninga at one point, and he wasn't bad. So I'd like to see Jack Andrew back in the mix.
I think he's the obvious choice for sure.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
backup 5.
But yeah, let us know what you think. This is a pretty damn good squad compared to last season. I think we can make a pretty deep run. But we're going to take a quick break here and round out the show on the other side of this break. Welcome back into the Fast Break podcast on Sport Nation. Time to round out the podcast. We're going to take a look at the Tall Blacks Select squad to take on China. They're playing tonight, August 17th, if you are listening to this in a future time, at 11 p.m. So some of the young guns and and a couple of experienced players as well from the NZNBL taking on China in I think it's just an exhibition game. But just want to run through the squad and get your thoughts on who's playing in this, Will, and a good opportunity to put on the black singlet. Obviously not a full Tall Blacks team, so it doesn't count as a cap, but a select team to take on. Tobias Cameron, Tukaha Cooper, Caslo Evans Jr., Isaac Miller-Jose, James Moores, Sean Murphy, Jordan Ngatai, Zach Riley, Keani Saxton, Corey Webster, and Luca Yates.
Yeah, I think obviously lots of young developmental guys. You got Tukaha Cooper, the Breakers DP there, Zach Riley, who we mentioned as a possible option. I think Caslo Evans Jr. as well could be another option for that Breakers DP spot. He had a very impressive campaign with the Jets. And then, you got the likes of some experienced guys in there, Jordan Ngatai and Corey Webster. It'll be great to see Corey Webster back in a black jersey. He obviously didn't make the cut for that last window Tall Blacks team, but I think having his leadership, taking these young guys under his wing over to China, and he's been very impressive, I got to admit, from what we saw when he came back for the Jets. He looked like Corey Webster of old, knocking down threes. Obviously, it was at a lower level of basketball in Sal's NBL compared to like what he's been used to and throughout his storied career, but I think Corey Webster's still got it. That 3 ball is like riding a bike, something you're never going to forget as a shooter like Corey Webster. So I think he's going to be a great mentor to all of these young guys. And you just see a list full of guys who have had great campaigns for their Sal's teams. Zach Riley for the Tuatara. Luca Yates was a real young guy for the Canterbury Rams. I think he was very impressive.
He was playing an NBL 1.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, Luca Yates playing an NBL 1. But he is a Kiwi. Played for the Illawarra Hawks and the Hawke's Bay Hawks in previous years.
Yeah.
But no, this is a good team. Corey Webster as well, like you said. Riding a bike's a good one. I never actually thought of that. But, man, he had some, like, ridiculous games. Once he was healthy, he was one of the best players on the Jets. And despite his age, man, like this next Tall Blacks window, which is coming up in like a couple weeks, maybe even less. Honestly, hot take, you might see him there.
Wow.
I mean, Jordan Ngatai's in this select squad. He was literally the captain of the Tall Blacks.
Yeah.
But look, man, Corey Webster, you never know if you need a bit more experience and one of the best 3-point shooters this country's ever seen. Why would Judd Flavel not select him? I mean, he's maybe a little bit behind the 8 ball still, but like considering he's coming off a massive injury and was producing that and still a professional basketball league, he's pretty damn good. And also, just another name to note on here, Tobias Cameron. Yes. He's that new training player and likely injury replacement player for the Breakers. Man, his performance in the Sal's NBL final, he was arguably one of the best on ground for what he did. 13 points off the bench.
Lockdown defender.
He really gave Pepper some problems, even though Pepper had a great game. But Tobias Cameron off the bench came up like absolutely massive. And I think him being around the Breakers environment this season's only going to take his game to like another level. But
Isaac Miller-Jose as well had a good campaign for the Nuggets. So I was very impressed with him for sure.
Yeah, no, there's some really good names in here, and be interesting to see what they can do tonight. But that's at 11 o'clock. I'm unsure where you can watch it. We were trying to figure out, but we couldn't find it. But yeah, that's all we have time for on the Fast Break podcast today. Next week, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the NBL and what's going around the league and hopefully potentially catch up with somebody. We're unsure yet, but we're going to hopefully work towards getting some interviews back on the podcast for sure. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.